Hello and welcome to Talking to a Wall podcast where I share or talk about pretty much anything and literally everything with my little side dish of opinion or tangents. Last episode was kind of a mess, let's be honest here. I really got nowhere in that, but now you guys kind of know my opinion on winter, and that's that, I guess. Anyways, moving on to the future. Today I wanted to talk about why January 1st and like New Year's resolutions like doesn't make sense to me. So like January 1st, big day. Like so many cultures except for I'm going to say I think it's the Chinese culture and then like North Korea's culture. They don't start the new year on January 1st. And I feel like there's a few other people, but like I understand New Year's resolutions, but like I feel like there is so much momentum and so much motivation and then you get burnt out within 2 weeks. So I want to talk about the reasons why like that happens. And so I have a list here. And so it's like I don't know. Many people see the start of the new year as symbolic and motivating time to make like positive or just changes in their lives, which makes a lot of sense because like new year, everything like, oh my gosh, like it's a new year to change your life and all these things. But then like when you see people make these goals, a lot of times they're super unrealistic. And not only are they super unrealistic, there's a lot of lack of planning behind them. So like say say here's an example. Say you have an overweight neighbor who's like, "Oh, I'm going to lose 100 pounds this year." Okay. Like, yeah, it's totally possible, but like he thought of that last minute and he thought of that to tell people that he's going to start doing this, but in reality, he's going to lose motivation in 2 weeks. And so he has a lack of planning. He doesn't have a diet set up. He doesn't have like meal prepping on Sundays or whatever to like make it easier for him. He doesn't have a consistent schedule that can help him like work out and all these things. And so like lack of planning is just a huge thing that a lot of people do not understand how to do, and not necessarily how to do. They just don't understand how to make sense of it. Okay. Second thing on my list is social pressure. Pressure. The cultural tradition of making New Year's resolutions leads to setting goals based on societal like expectations rather than like your personal well-being wanting to make those expectations, in my opinion. So like I said, like say you have this neighbor John, he's overweight and he's like, I'm gonna lose 100 pounds this year. He thinks that because there's so much societal pressure on him. He's like, oh, I should probably make that one of my goals. But like say one of his other goals is like, I want to stop drinking Coca-Cola. Like that is a perfectly like great goal to have. But he's not going to go and be like, "Oh yeah, this year's resolution goal is to stop drinking Coca-Cola." And you're seeing this as an outsider as he's like 400 pounds. So he's going to want to create bigger goals to make it seem like he's wanting to accomplish more, but in reality, it's not going to end up happening. Another thing, or I guess next thing, it's all or nothing thinking. You are like, I'm not like trying to blame this on you, but like society really puts so much pressure into this that like it's all or nothing. That really changes a lot of like open mindsets to closed mindsets on January 1st. So like January 1st can create an all or nothing mindset where people feel as if they don't start perfectly, that they should just give up. They should be like, "Oh, next year I'll do it." Or on Monday I'll start it. Like it's just like it begins to be like tomorrow I'll start it. I'm too tired today. Oh, I have a headache today. I'll start it next week. Like you begin to push these things off and it just is all or nothing, and then when the next one comes up you're like, oh my god, like I can restart it because this year's going to be perfect. So it's like it's very, like I said, it really changes a lot of people's mindsets into like a quote unquote all or nothing or like a closed mindset in this aspect of like their goals. Next thing is external factors, which could be like really a bajillion things. Like there's so many things, but it like the start of a new year does not align with everybody's significant life events or personal cycles. Like personal cycles, first thing that come to mind for me is like periods. Like my period's not gonna like come every month on this certain day and end on this certain day. It's not going to start January 1st and be done January 7th. Like, that's just not how, like, periods work, and that's just not how personal cycles work. Like, say I work 6 days a week, and my quote unquote Sunday is not going to be the same as everyone's because I have to get an entire works week of things done in one day. So like I have to go shopping, I have to like do all these things, I have to wash my dog, I have to wash my car, clean out my car, all these things. But like people have like quote unquote 9 to 5ers would have a regular 2 day weekend to be able to get that done. But that's their personal cycle, and that could be my personal cycle. In significant life events, like somebody could be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start this goal on this birthday. Be like, when I turn 35, by the time I'm 36 or 40, I want to be this, this, and this. I want to have met these things. And I feel like that's a more realistic goal than a New Year's resolution kind of goal, in my opinion. So, continuing with that kind of, it's like, it's very, it's a very hard thing to kind of like tie this into, but unrealistic expectations, like, everyone can argue that their goals are very realistic, but it's like, they're not always going to be realistic. So, I'm trying to think. But a lot of people set overly ambitious or unrealistic goals that can really set them up for failure. Like I'm kind of laughing about this, but it's true. Like, say you have your overweight dude, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna lose 100 pounds," and he's like 400 pounds, but like he has that lack of planning, and so without that planning, he has an unrealistic expectation. Like, yeah, maybe 3 days a week he goes on this 2 mile walk, but like he's still eating like absolute shit. Like, that's causing, and that's once again a lack of planning and a very unrealistic expectation without that planning. I feel like with proper planning, nothing can really be unrealistic as long as you're like honest with yourself. And so pretty much my sixth and final point in this argument is like continuous improvement. And with that, like goals and like self improvement don't have to be like tied to January 1st. Like, believe it or not, like January 2nd is just as good as a day to like quote unquote start as January 1st. And like I kind of sound like a health coach or like a fitness influencer or whatever, but like you don't have to start then. Like if you're thinking about your goals and you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to stop eating chocolate or whatever." And it's like, why not start tomorrow or start today or whatever? Like what makes January 1st so appealing? And people are like, "Well, it's the start of the new year. What about like December 21st? That's winter. Why not stop in winter? Like, why not start on summer solstice or all these things? Like, there's like so many different like days. Like, why not start on a Sunday?" And I guess like this year is like a really big New Year's Day because like it's on a Sunday. It's on a new year. It's in a new month and a new week. It's a complete like reset. Although it's not a new decade, but it's a reset if you know what I mean. And so with these kind of things, I had to like I made this list for me personally to keep myself in check when coming up with these goals. Because like yes, I want to have a few goals, and a few goals for me are like I want to drink more water. Like that is I'm always struggling with being dehydrated, and then like taking my vitamins every day. Like that is something that like I've always struggled with as well. Because like with me, I take iron and magnesium, and for those of you who don't know, you can't take those two pills within I want to say 6 hours of each other, or else they contradict each other. And so, like, a lot of days I'll be like, okay, like, I'll take this, like, first, like, set of 4 pills, and I'll be like, okay, I need to take my magnesium pill at night. And it's like, I always forget to take my magnesium pill. And so, like, drinking water and taking my vitamins more regularly are, like, two goals for me. And yes, like, people are like, well, those aren't really like New Year's resolution goals. They're goals for me. They match my personal cycles. They're not unrealistic, and they're gonna continue to improve me. Although, like, I don't necessarily need the vitamins. Like, well, I do. Like, I need to take my iron pills. I have low iron. I need to take my vitamin D3 pill because, like, it's winter. I'm not getting the correct vitamins I need, and I want to continue to stay like above my health. It fits with a lot of external factors, which is what aligns with my personal cycle. And it's not all or nothing like thinking, because like I understand that like I fill up my, like, I have a pill box. It's like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I understand that, like, okay, the next day, like, say I miss my magnesium pill one day, I'd be like, okay, tomorrow I need to make sure I get it. And so it's not an all or nothing thinking. I can, like, I recognize that, like, yes, I took it 2 days this week out of 7, but, like, last week I took it 0 out of 7. Like, there is improvement there, and it's something I can build on. And it's not a lack of planning, because, like, I have a pill box. If I set it all out on Sundays, or whatever day, I just take my pill box with me. Usually it's in my car, because that's where I spend like an hour of my day. And it's like when you're driving, your mind tends to wander, and I'll like look over it, like I'll be like, oh my gosh, I need to take my pills. And I'll grab my water bottle and take my pills. So it's like, and there's no social pressure for me to take my pills. Yes, I'm a pill popper, but they are vitamins. It is vitamins. I will take melatonin here and there, but like my goals. So like if I were to go, I had some really unrealistic goals last year, and I had a whole Google Doc on them. See if I can pull them up. There we are. Goals 2023. I have not opened it since December 31st, 2022. So, tells you. So, the first thing that comes up is things I want to be free of is coffee and energy drinks. That did not come true. I had a coffee this morning. To be honest here, finished shows Walking Dead and Breaking Bad, Lupin, and The 100. I stopped watching The 100. It turns out really bad after Lexa dies, in my opinion. I finished The Walking Dead, and I have finished Breaking Bad. Lupin, I kind of lost. Like, okay, I'm gonna catch myself right there. I'm beginning to like justify not finishing these things. Although it's shows and energy drinks, but like, it's like, oh my gosh, it's all like, okay. Here's one that I've been following: 2 bottles of water every day. I've probably done that majority of the time, at least 90%. Like, I have a few like very specific goals in here for like sports, so like base running and like pop time and like all that. Like, I do stretch every day, so I did follow that. Mind, I have these under categories. So like meditate 10 minutes daily. I did not do that. Journal / write things out. Did not do that. Discipline the mind. No. Sleep at least 8 hours. No. Understand mental illnesses. I have begun to understand more mental illnesses, although not to like my thing. Stress free, which I don't think is actually completely true, but do not look at phone when stressed. I feel like that is not true. I feel like I've been really more addicted to my phone lately, and I think I'm gonna make a whole podcast episode about that. Patience and key. Understand it. I know. Money. Save about 5K. make at least 8K. Learn stock marketing. Learn drop shipping. Stop buying coffee. Quotation or parentheses. Wasting of money. I switched to McDonald's $2 coffee. So in the process, I did not save money in that aspect. Cause like that's $14 a week minimum. And then like with energy drinks, yeah, no. Work less than 20 hours a week during school. No. This was when I was still working at Jerry's, so I had a certain things. Voice concerns at least 15 times. That is a very good goal to have, but that did not happen. Consistently make my bed and tidy my room. No. Finish painting my wall. No. Finish record wall. No. Communication. It's okay. Learning all A's in classes. Talk to 7 to 12 colleges. I applied to 26 colleges. So I'd say I got that one. Turn things on time. Turn things in on time. Nope. Ask questions. Read 10 pages a day. No. Wellness. Delete social media. Lose those people. Lose contact with them on fully, which I did. Do not tolerate the people who make me feel bad for who I am. So like I did have a lot of goals, and I did have technically realistic ones, but like I did not, like, this is a good one. Closure with relationships ending. I got really I got really comfortable with that this year. And I feel like there's a lot of things that like really stuck to my mind unconsciously because like I said, I haven't looked at this. I haven't edited this. I haven't looked at it. And it's like I feel like a part of that was shame because I did not um I did not like come back and was like, "Oh, I need to follow this, this and this." No. Like there's a lot of goals. Like I said, I feel like I've just grown a lot as a person since I made that list, but like a lot of those goals, yeah, did not match up with how my life was going at that time period because during that time period I was like I don't know what I was thinking during that time period, but I did accomplish some of those things and there's a lot of those things that I did not accomplish or did not accomplish to the wellness or the best of my ability that I could have. It's like with the two goals that I named off earlier was taking my vitamins every day and drinking more water. Those are perfectly good things that I can work at every day and not feel bad about for missing one day. A lot of those things, I felt bad after missing a day or two, and then I was like, oh my god, like I have to really restart this, and like you can't see me, but like I'm covering my eyes with my hands in like shame because like okay, Duolingo, Duolingo is an amazing app. You learn languages, but like after a day, like personally, I feel like shame. I feel guilty for missing my lesson. I don't know if it's just because Duo, the little owl guy, is so like iconic and like threatens to lock you up in his basement or whatever, but like I feel very guilty after I don't do something. So like one of these goals was like meditate for 10 minutes a day. I probably stuck with that for about 2 weeks and then I missed a day because I didn't have time in the morning. And then I was like, oh my god. And I think it was one of those mornings it was like I was stressed out, I was running late, I ended up getting coffee, so I stopped my coffee one. And it's like once I hit that, I feel so much shame and guilt. And so it's so, like, I don't know what is with guilt and shame, but like, as soon as I feel guilt and shame, I never want to return to it. So, like, if I embarrass myself at work, I'll be like, oh my God, like, I'll be like so shamed. Or like, I mess up, I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so guilty. Like, oh my God, how do I do this? Like, I'll overthink it. And then, like, I'll be like, I don't ever want to return. Like, I don't want to ever go back, you know? And I feel like that's just like something with me that I really do need to work on. And I feel like that's something that I have to not necessarily work on this year, but like I want to start becoming more comfortable with yes, I messed up. Yes, I didn't accomplish this one goal for this day, but tomorrow is going to exist. Tomorrow is going to happen, and tomorrow I can do that goal and I can do it better. So like I guess that like I haven't read the book personally, but I guess that really fits into like Atomic Habits. It really is like, oh, you're supposed to be like what 0.038% better every year or every day or something. And so like yeah, I guess that's kind of like what I'm coming at is like you can be better every day even if it's not specifically tied into January 1st. Like I could realize in March I'd be like, "Oh my god, like I really need to work on matching my socks." So the next time I do laundry, I'm going to keep that consciously in my head and be like, "Okay, I need to make sure I match my socks. Jesus Christ, I can't speak." And I'll match my socks that time. And so there'll be another time where I'm doing laundry in a rush or like I'm tired or I'm just like really don't want to be doing laundry. And I'll be like, oh my god, I don't have time to do my socks right now. I'm just going to throw them in my sock drawer. That is something that I'll keep like consciously in my head and be like, okay, next time I need to justify this by making sure I do all my socks and clean out my sock drawer so I can match them all correctly. And I'll do that next time. And I guess that was a really deep sigh. I'm getting myself riled up here. But like, I just need to really work on that aspect of my life. I need to really work on being okay with missing something. And for me, like, I'm deathly afraid of being late. And I've been late a few times this year. And I've become more okay with being late, although I'm not going to be like, oh my god, I can sleep in. I'm going to be like, no, I still need to get to school on time. I still need to do this on time, but it is okay if I'm a minute or two late. Although, I'm going to like self punish myself and be like, oh my god, you were late. You need to be here tomorrow earlier. And so it's just like, oh my gosh, I don't. Just being okay with making a mistake or missing a day. And I feel like people don't understand that. With January 1st, oh, the mailman just came and I got really scared. I just saw him through the window. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be murdered. I am not murdered. Could have thrown an orange at him or a banana. I don't know. maybe my water bottle. um, but like I said, just like doing those things and being okay with those things and not tying it to a certain day of the year at midnight. Because like people's dreams could be like, oh my god, I want to be in bed by 10 o'clock every night. You're staying up till midnight on January 1st, so technically you've already broken that goal right there if you're trying to be really strict. And I feel like being I understand being disciplined and I understand being strict, but like being so strict in yourself is what's gonna hurt you in the end. Cause like you can go like 2 weeks with like say your goal's not to eat sugar. You can go 2 weeks without like eating sugar, but you're gonna want to binge. And yes, you could be like, I'm gonna keep it out. And yes, you could do amazing by like disciplining yourself in your head and being strict with yourself. But there's also like you can be okay if you eat like something with sugar. Like say you eat like a brownie at a holiday thing or something. Like you go to the office or you go wherever and there's a donut there and you eat like half a donut. Like you're not gonna die, but that just tells you that you need to refocus and not necessarily refocus, but you just need to be like, okay, I had my sweet, I had my sugar, time to get back on this train. And it's like a lot of people, as soon as they ate that half a donut, they're gonna be like, oh my god, I fucking failed. Like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? I have to wait till January 1st again to begin this again. Like, they're gonna feel like such a failure. It's crazy. But that's just like January 1st, I feel like is a very unrealistic like day. And yes, I'm gonna come up with my own goals. But like with my goals right now, taking my vitamins and drinking more water, I'm gonna start doing that now so I have a better routine built up when I go into January 1st. So like as soon as you think of your goals, I feel like you should be beginning to work on them. Or like begin planning. Like I said with your neighbor, say he's 400 pounds and he wants to lose weight. He could start looking at meals. He could start looking up all these things to be like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna have chicken orzo one night and then I'm gonna have this, I don't know, this salad the other night, like with the leftovers or whatever. Like he has to have a plan and he has to be able to execute that plan. And as soon as you know what your goal is, you should be making a plan. And so this year, for my uh, New Year goals and all that, I'm gonna make a plan. I'm gonna do what I did similar last year. I'm gonna make my goal sheet. I'm gonna print it out. I did not do that last year. I just kind of hoped that I'd look at it. I did not look at it. I'll print it out, and every day I'll make sure I remind myself. And I've become like really, really, I don't know, aware of seizing the day, like carpe diem, that kind of situation, or like seizing the night. I can't remember how you say it for the night, but like just being more aware of like what future me would want and what future me needs to have happen to be successful. And so like thinking of that now before New Year's, I feel like is a very, very strong telltale sign of doing that. Anyways, um, this episode's like I said, kind of messy. It's not as messy as the last episode, but you know how it works. Yeah. Thank you for listening to Talking to Wall podcast, and please rate it. Please, I'm really riding on that. Yeah, let me know what other episodes I should make, or if there's any ideas. And thank you for listening. Hope you tune into the next one.